with no selfie stick or anything like that. So, yes, tell your name.
My name's Hannah Leslie.
Okay, Hannah Leslie, and I'm Angela Sinclair, and honestly, I met this wonderful person, Mike, at my house, and he told me all about his daughter, whose name is Miranda. Honestly, I've never met Miranda, but immediately my heart just really went out to him because of how worried he was about his daughter. And he said, you know, have you ever heard of a condition called POTS? And I'm like, I've never heard of that in my life. So I grabbed my laptop and I started researching, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And he just shared with me, and I was like, well, I bet you what we have could really help her. And he's like, do you think so? And I'm like, I really just have the feeling, but I can't prove it, and I really don't know. And I started looking online for testimonies. I found nothing. And then, but he explained all the symptoms, and then when I went online, I actually read up on all the symptoms, spent a couple of hours, just because, for whatever reason, it struck me. And then, sure enough, I come to this Isagenix convention, and this beautiful girl stands up and starts talking about her heart rate going up to 195 and also having fibromyalgia. I'm like, wait a minute, does this girl have POTS? So after she spoke, I ran to her and she said, I said, do you have POTS? And she's like, no one has ever.
Nobody has ever asked me that. I've never met anybody that knew what it was. I was always the one telling people what it was and helping diagnose people.
Yeah.
Before on like my Facebook pages, because we have these big fibromyalgia groups.
Yeah.
And so I hadn't even sat down yet when you came up to me. I was like, this is a miracle.
So tell me, how old are you?
I'm 17.
You're 17 years old. And tell me about POTS, and tell me where you're at now, and tell me what's going on with you. How did it start, and where are you at now?
Well, you know, my dad has 4 different types of arthritis.
Arthritis,
and,
okay.
I've had issues since I was little. I've always dealt with major headaches. When I was little, I was constantly buying children's Motrin, you know, and as I got older, it got worse, and around probably 7 or 8, I realized that I had to stop running around, and I couldn't play like a normal child because
Really?
I just couldn't do it. My heart rate was so fast and it started hurting, and my legs were killing me because, you know, that's where the blood pools in my legs.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was 14 years old. It was 2 months before my 15th birthday. I went to Fun Fest back in Kingsport, Tennessee, where I live. And, you know, fibromyalgia is an underlying cause. It lays beneath the surface just like POTS and arthritis does until it is triggered.
Yep.
And my traumatic experience was standing up and screaming and doing all these things that I'd never really actually done before.
Okay.
And so, you know, as the days went on, a couple days after, I realized I was still hurting when I shouldn't have been still hurting. And then a full week after, I went to the hospital because I just could not take the pain anymore.
Okay.
I was diagnosed in August of 2013 with fibromyalgia, arthritis, and POTS.
And then POTS is pericardial obstructive tachycardial syndrome, something like that?
Postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome.
Something like, okay.
Yeah, it's not a lot of people know. And
Postural.
Okay. Postural orthostatic. I will send that to you.
Okay, yeah.
And basically what that is it comes with a lot of really weird symptoms. Like, I always had a sore throat growing up. And so we just thought, you know, I always had a cold. That is actually a symptom of POTS.
Okay.
Is a sore throat. And so, you know, ever since I was little, and it was actually, my heart rate was about 128, 135.
It's really high.
That is. And, you know, every time I went to a doctor or the hospital, or I just went for a checkup, they were like, I want to send you to the ER, and I'm like, it's normal, they can't do anything.
So did you start fainting and stuff like that?
Yes, I did. And, you know, right around when I was actually 7 or 8, when I started having issues, we bought bunk beds. Mm-hmm. Naturally, I slept on the top bunk, don't know why, scared of heights, but I did it anyway because my sister wanted the little cave at the bottom. So, I noticed that by the time I would get up the ladder and get up onto the mattress that I couldn't breathe. I was in pain. I was sweating so bad that my mom would have to almost roll me off of the bed and get me downstairs because I was just so hot that I was going to pass out, and I did a couple times. While my mom was actually I was halfway off the bed when I went out.
So fast forward to you having these episodes and hardly being able to function, and then you guys found Isagenix through Audrey?
Actually through one of Audrey's downlines, Abilene Shrell.
Okay, and then what happened? Well, so you took it. how long did it take for you to get better, and what did you take to get better?
Well, what got us started was my parents split it, and my mom started working at the hospital. She met Abby, which is Abba's mom, and she was telling her all about how if I raise my hands above my head, I pass out like that. I will hit the floor on you. Mm-hmm. And we started going through those things, and Abilene was like, "Well, I bet you anything this will help." And
that's what I said to Mike. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know how it's going to help. I just think it will.
And I figured I had taken every medication on the market by that point.
Sure.
I learned I was allergic to steroids. That's how I figured it out. And I figured, what is this going to hurt? Worst comes worst, I have a little stomach ache.
So what do you take, and how long did it take for you to get better, and how has your life changed? Like, what's your regimen?
Well, I started on December 1st after my mom had been on it for 2 weeks.
What? You've only been on it for a couple months?
Yes.
What?
Since December 1st of 2015.
And now it's April, so 4 months into this. Wow. And tell us.
It took... I started noticing the difference in, just pain level wise about a weekend, and then 2 weeks later I decided, what, I hadn't checked my pulse in a while since I'd started. I took it the day I started before I drank it, the Cleanse for Life.
Oh, so wait a minute. Tell me what you took.
Well, I started out only on the Cleanse for Life and a strawberry isolate shake.
How many Cleanse for Lives?
Just one a day, because I did not want to...
Like
I was worried about it. It was in the morning.
2 ounces?
Yes, 2 ounces.
And then a shake for breakfast.
And then, well, just a shake whenever I felt like it. Just whenever I felt like getting up. But I took my pulse right before I took it for the very first time, the Cleanse for Life. And so 2 weeks later, I started feeling weird. My chest was hurting, and so I thought maybe it had raised my heart rate.
Yeah.
I checked it, and it went from 128 on my first day to 95.
What?
In 2 weeks.
So it's 4 months later, and you're at this conference, and I've seen you bopping around, running around, and have you gotten dizzy?
No, I have not. Not one time.
And so it's taken you 4 months of taking a shake a day and a little bit of cleanse in the morning and nothing else. And just normal food.
Just normal food.
And it's changed your life.
If it had not been for the Cleanse for Life, if it had not been for Isogenics as a whole, coming to this conference would have killed me. I would have been in pain. I would have had to get up and down and leave or miss most of the interviews. I would have a migraine and I would be passing out. Just raising my hand right here, I used to go half out. And so, I couldn't even work.
What do you want to say to like Miranda or any other person that might be able to watch this video about hope?
I want to say, mainly POTS for the main part, just as a whole of all my illnesses. POTS took away my riding horses. I grew up riding horses. I was free. I was lifting hay and stuff. It took that away around 9 years old. And, I lost the ability to stand up and cook, to write. I love to write fiction. And it took that away. But what broke my heart was when I was diagnosed, I hadn't known about Isogenics. I slept for 1.5 years after my diagnosis. I was up maybe 2 hours out of the day. I slept because I was so depressed about not being able to ride again. All that went through my mind was, I'm never going to ride a horse again. And when I started this, it gave me hope again.
You're 17 years old.
I'm 17 years old. I was diagnosed at 14. And when I started taking this again, the minute that I checked my pulse for that second time after being on there, I started to cry because I can ride horses again. I can cook. I've been standing up cooking. I baked 4 dozen muffins about a month ago because I physically could not pull myself away from the stove. And what I can say about hope is that you can lose it, and you will lose it with this when you have these illnesses and more, but I promise you that you can get it back, because I did. I can run again. I can pick up my cousins. I have 3 bearded dragons and a hedgehog, and I can take care of them.
I saw that on Facebook.
I love them. They are my babies. My horse is my life. My horse, I tamed a stud that nobody else could get near. a horse that was dangerous to other people. He laid down, I laid with him in the dirt for 30 minutes. And nothing meant more to me than that horse. And I have the ability to take care of him again and do the things I need to do as a rider and as an animal lover. And just, I
You have a hope in a future now.
Yes, I do, and I didn't have that as a teenager. I missed my teenage years. I didn't get to live out my teenage years.
You're gonna help a lot of people.
And that's my goal, and that's why I'm at this conference. That's why I travel all the way from Kingsport down to Charlotte, because I want to make a difference. And I know that if me, of all people, and even my doctor said this, I took this to my doctor.
Yeah.
She said, if you, of all people, can get better on this, I'm telling you right now, you need to sign me up, because I'm selling it to my other patients. I'm telling my other patients.
Yeah.
I'm sending them to you. So now I go see her actually at the end of this month to sign her up, and
wow.
I'm going to give her my phone number, or she already has it. She's going to give her patients my phone number. That way I can help people with my disease, with Miranda's disease, and so much more.
Thank you so much for your time. I know that we're going back into the conference, but you've given us 11 minutes of your time, and I really appreciate it. And
I would give you all day if I had it. I would.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming up to me. Knowing that I can make a difference, that meant the world to me. That made me cry harder. I've cried the past 3 days since I've been here in Charlotte, just because quite a few somebodies, but you were the first one to come up to me and tell me that I could help somebody.
Yeah.
And that, to me, will stick with me for the rest of my life.
That's amazing.
And I hope that me and you can become much closer.
We will.
And I cannot wait to see where this goes. And I hope to meet you one day, Miranda. I hope to be able to talk to you. And if you have a Facebook, please message me.
Yes.
And don't be hesitant to call me or even video chat with me on Facebook, because I will give you as much time as I can.
God bless you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.